morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Matt.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone, to a sloppy day here on the farm. We have been dealing with heavy amounts of rain from last night leading into this morning, and it has left everything pretty sloppy. Not only has the rain been causing issues, but we've been dealing with a big problem on top of it. To say big problem is probably understating it. With a farm of this size, it's a huge problem. We'll get into that in 1 minute though. We just got finished feeding the animals. Chickens have been taken care of, calves have been taken care of, and we just got the cattle fed. Thankfully, we have plenty of room to keep all the animals out of the way, and the fact that we've cleaned out this entire pen is making everything look really nice. We also just got some calves recently, and we ended up putting them into the back of the barn. They both look great. Haven't come up with names for them yet, but they are pretty cute. Look at that tongue, woo! But about that big problem that we're dealing with, the best person that could tell you what's going on is Grandpa.
I don't know what happened. Power went out about 8 o'clock, and they said it won't be back on until 11. It's not a big major deal at the moment because it's not too cold, so the heaters in the greenhouse don't have to work for a little bit, but makes it just a little extra work when you're doing everything.
We require a lot of electric here on the farm. All of our water bowls are automatic water bowls. Dad mentioned the greenhouses. None of the heaters are working. We also have all our freezers in the farm market and our freezers that we own personally. They also are not working.
Andrew, don't stop talking about it. You're bumming me out. But it's not really that big. If it would be out for much longer than after lunch, then we'll have to start getting generators hooked up. But until then, we're gonna wait and see if it turns on by noon. We're not open at the store today. So if all the freezers and the refrigerator, the coolers stay closed, they'll stay cool. One thing we did is we went and turned the power off to everything so that when the power comes on, we don't have a surge. Sometimes when you have a refrigerator or a freezer that requires a lot of electric and there's a lot of surge, you can burn the motors up. So we've turned circuit breakers off to everything. So when the power comes on, we'll be ready. So dealing with everything has been quite the ordeal. Having electricity makes everything much more enjoyable. For the most part though, I think we're gonna be okay, but if this persists for any longer, it's just gonna be more work. Before we make our way into the largest greenhouse to start working, I'm actually gonna run up to the germination greenhouse to make sure everything's okay up there. Well, that's a good sign. We got the lineman out. We just had 3 power trucks go down the road, so that's looking good for us. So here in the greenhouse, what have we already got accomplished today?
Well, the girls are finishing planting geraniums over on the other side, which thankfully the power going out didn't affect that much. And then Dad and I were filling up pots, but when the power went out, the dirt machine shut down, Cookie Monster shut down, and ain't no way we're going back to filling dirt by hand. So we had to take a break. We went to get our generator to see if we could get it fired up, because you know we haven't used it in like 5 or 6 years. So we had to drain the fuel out of it and get it and see if we could get it to work. Got it turned on, but then we decided we needed it other places, not the greenhouse, so we hooked it up somewhere else. And then Ralph and I have been planting hanging baskets so that we can start getting them hung up.
Busy morning here on the farm. That's what we like to see.
Big trouble now. We put all the hangers on and now we got a vermiculite on them. No, what is it?
Nutricoat.
Oh, Nutricoat. I don't know what I'm talking about.
We'll ask the ladies too. How do you girls over here feel about the power being out this morning?
The only power we needed was women power.
Ooh, look at that. And believe me, we got plenty of that around here. The women power has been working. Lots of planting going on. The boys just brought over 2 different types of flowers for hanging baskets. We have some lantana, and then we have some double callies. Now, as you can imagine, when it comes to working with this many plants, it can get confusing. So there's a lot of planning that is involved in getting this entire greenhouse and the rest of them all filled up and taken care of. We plan down to the exact inch, actually, of where things will go because we need to make sure we have plenty of room. There's a few factors we need to keep in mind. One, how much water each plant gets. Some of these lines will actually allow more water to come through than others. So we have to remember which plants need less water and which plants need more water so that we can adjust everything accordingly in the greenhouse. Not only is the water a factor, but also how much sunlight the plants get. Another thing that we will do is we will try and break everything up according to how much sun that the plants can take. Whether it's full sun part sun, full sun part shade, shade part sun. Like, there's so many different things that works into it. And the full shade plants we all try and put together so as not to confuse us and the customers. For example, these pots that we have here, they are more capable to deal with shade. So we have a line in our greenhouse where these shade plants will sit. And that just, it makes it a lot easier on the brain. You say, oh, I remember where the shade plants are if customers are asking for help. So there's a lot of things that we have to think about, not only just where everything goes, how it needs to be planted, what can be near other plants, because sometimes plants don't like to hang out. You got to make sure they're buddies. And then just planting everything is a lot of planning, it's a lot of thinking, and it's a lot of work. You can see Dad is over here working on 4.5-inch pots. He has an exact number that he needs for the next variety, which is what we've got going on here. On top of all that, we need to keep in mind how much dirt we are using and how many pots we are going through so that we can factor into the cost of everything. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of paying attention. And that's why it's so important for us to communicate in the greenhouse. Communication is key, because if I'm working on something and I don't know that you're working on the exact same thing, oh my goodness, we could have issues. Ralph, have you ever seen any issues in the greenhouse?
Nope, never.
I've seen an issue before. I'm staring at them.
That hurt my feelings.
Dad, have we ever made any mistakes in the greenhouse when it comes to filling up pots or planting anything?
All the time.
But that's okay. As long as we communicate and work together, we can get it fixed. And everybody's happy. Now, when you're adding on this time release fertilizer, something that's very important is making sure, to the best of your ability, that it's not sitting on the leaves, because when you do water, or if you do water over the top, it is gonna burn the leaves. So that's another thing we have to watch out for with the time release fertilizer. Thankfully, we never really have an issue. If we do get some fertilizer on the leaves, we can just bump it off with our little tool that we have here. But that's something you need to watch for if you decide you're gonna be using time release fertilizer at home. All right, Ralph, I got a lot of questions. How are we related?
What do you mean? Our moms are sisters. What do you mean how
I'm sorry, I know how we're related. They don't know how we're related.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Ralph is my cousin on my mom's side. A lot of the other family you see is on my dad's side. We have a very large family, but Ralph, why are you here and not at work?
We're not working yet, so instead of being a bum sitting in my house, I decided to come work a little bit.
Look at that, Ralph is such a big help. He does a lot of landscaping and he takes care of yards and he does a lot of outside work, but this time of the year, yards aren't growing. There's no grass to cut, so Ralph's not working.
Yup, now I'm in the greenhouse planting some flowers.
So Ralphie is kind enough to help us out, which is a big help, because with me being busy for the past 2 weeks with these brand new babies, while I wasn't here, he stepped right up and he helped everybody out. So big thank you to Ralphie. Let him know down in the comments. So all these hanging baskets that we had right here, we got the tops put on them. We just got them tagged, so we are gonna be hanging them up. We've been making a lot of progress as we move down through the greenhouse, and sounds like it's raining even harder now. We can hear it on the plastic. It sure is relaxing in here when you're working. You just hear that light sound of the rain coming down. It's nice. There's a lot of moving hose in this greenhouse. We've thought about just getting a hose for every single lane, but we feel like that's a waste of hose. It doesn't take that long to walk it around until it gets stuck on the corner of the tables like that. But it's not that big of a deal. We don't need 100 different hoses around here. I will say I'm happy we don't got to be working outside right now. It is pouring. I know in the past 2 videos, you guys are probably amazed at how much fertilizer we're going through and how much soil we're going through. But it takes a lot to fill up these greenhouses, and we're gonna need a lot more fertilizer, a lot more soil, and a lot more pots. We just got the call that it is lunchtime, so we're heading up into the farm market. If anybody was curious if the weather had changed, it hasn't changed. It's gotten worse. It is sloppy out here. The only good thing about this weather is it's really easy to clean off the boots. There's always this puddle that develops right here in the middle of the parking lot. We've tried to fix it like numerous times. But anyway, one time we had a duck decoy in it, and everybody thought the duck decoy was a real duck. It was very funny. Alrighty, let's see, what are we having for lunch? It looks like ham and bean soup, and then BLTs. Hoo-hoo-hoo. We got a delivery this morning. Once we got finished with lunch, we came back out here. We had all these seeds, a whole bunch of seeds that had just came in. So a lot of peppers and a lot of other things. You may remember back to when we were doing the habaneros, we were seeding them earlier. We were missing a few seeds. Well, now they're here, so we can really get started with seeding.
Oak Stacker Mix 2M.
After we got finished going through the seed order, which didn't take that long, we did a little more work in the greenhouse, but then there wasn't too much going on. Because of the rainy, sloppy weather, we can't be outside too much. So we have now called it quits for the day. I mean, it was nice getting that seed order in. Now we can really start focusing on getting a few vegetables seeded and some stuff that really needs to be seeded and transplanted. I mean, we're a little behind with some stuff because we had to wait for the order to come in. But now that's there, we'll be able to overcome that issue. Since we are finished for the day, I am now heading home. I'm ready for some dinner. I am hungry. Now for dinner tonight, Nana has taken care of us. She's making mince and tatties for dinner. So that is exciting. I would take you over to Lauren right now, but she is working on dinner for the baby. So we'll just leave her be. Callie is also running around here somewhere playing. But since we're getting ready to finish up dinner, that means this is where we're gonna end the video today. If you have not already, please remember to subscribe and like the video. And if you enjoy videos like this one, make sure you check out the channel. We post videos like it all the time. Everybody, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.